What's up, everybody? Hope you guys are doing well today as we get started on this final week of November going into December. And in this video, I want to talk about tanking. And I want to talk about tanking as it pertains to this current Seattle Seahawks team because, I mean, we as a fan base right now are feeling pretty down about things, feeling pretty pessimistic, feeling like things don't really matter as much as they should. Like usually going into December of a Seahawks season is like we're locking in, we're pumping ourselves up, we're feeling good, we're ready to go. That's not happening right now. People are more down than ever about this team, I feel like, compared to any point in the last couple of years. And with that apathy comes people saying things like, well, what's the point of even trying to win? Why should we even want this team to win? And I kind of get that sentiment. I even said in a video the other day, I was like, I was looking at the minutia of this team and the things that I can talk about, and there was a big part of me that just thought, well, who cares? Who cares about any of this? And when you get to that point as a fan base, the conversation kind of turns to tanking, which is you should want the team to lose. You should want the team to lose games. Now, I know there's a little bit of a difference between not caring if they win or lose and actively rooting for them to lose. I know that some fans haven't quite gotten from one platform to the next platform, but there's definitely been an undercurrent of people in my comments, people in Discord, people on X and Facebook and Instagram talking about the Seahawks saying, "Oh, we should tank. We should lose the rest of these games." And as a fan, rooting for your favorite team to lose is no small thing. Now, sometimes it is. Sometimes it is a small thing. If you are 1 in 15 going into week 18 of the season, and you've got the number one overall pick in your sights, and all you have to do is lose to secure the number one overall pick, then it's easy to root for your team to lose because it doesn't cost anything. You have nothing to lose. And in that instance, most fans would root for the team to lose. But this Seahawks team currently has a winning record and currently holds a playoff spot. And they will hold a playoff spot regardless of the outcome of tonight's game. So, rooting for your team to lose in that circumstance is a pretty big thing. So, if you're going to do it, there better be something big to gain. And I got to ask, what do you think the Seahawks stand to gain right now from losing? That's what I would ask the people who are actively rooting for this team to lose, actively rooting for this team to fail, actively rooting for this team to have bad results, because I'm starting to see that. And there are a couple different reasons why a fan might want their team to tank, as I see it. Because it's not spite, right? Like sometimes a fan will get mad for a few minutes and be like, "Oh, I hope they lose because I hate them and they suck and they deserve it." But that's just like short-term anger. I don't think that's really a thing that goes beyond a few minutes after a particularly frustrating moment. So there's the draft. And I want to talk about this because people keep talking about the draft and we need a tank for picks. So the Seahawks already have 6 wins this year. The Seahawks have won 6 games. They can't do anything about it. They can't donate those wins to another team. They can't erase those wins. Those wins are, they're there. And those 6 wins guarantee them a record of 6-11. So I'm looking at the current draft order on Tankathon, and I'm looking at some of these teams. The Carolina Panthers, I mean, they don't have their pick. It goes to the Bears, but the Bears currently own the number one pick through the Panthers. Panthers are not getting to 6 wins. They'll be lucky to win another game this year. Cardinals are playing decently, but I don't think they're going to find their way to 6 wins. There's no way New England gets to 6 wins. The Bears, I seriously doubt they get 6 wins. Washington has basically stripped their team bare, so they're not going to get to 6 wins. The Giants, I know that they're kind of a feel-good story right now, but they are still a very bad team that has no real chance on offense from week to week. They're not going to get to 6 wins. So you look at this list and you're like, even if the Seahawks lose out, even in the worst case or depending on your perspective, best case scenario, you've got a bunch of teams that are already locking up higher picks than where the Seahawks currently pick. So tanking for the Seahawks does not get you into the top five. Like maybe it would get you around pick 8. I think that would maybe be the best case scenario. The highest you could get 7 or 8 or 9, somewhere around there, because these teams here could win a couple more games. I don't think the Jets are going to go in the tank quite yet. The Titans could reel off a couple of wins here. Tampa Bay was playing good earlier. Maybe they could get back to that. So you could get up there, but you're not going to get up into that top 5 of the draft. So with that being said, let's look at the draft. There are a few generational type players in this draft. I believe that. I do believe that. But guess what? They're all going to be gone in the top 5, which, as I already displayed, the Seahawks have no chance of cracking. So, Caleb Williams, yeah, generational quarterback talent. I think he's guaranteed to go number 1 overall one way or the other. You can't get him. Drake May, maybe, I don't think he's generational, but he's a very good quarterback prospect, very appealing. And that is somebody who could change the fortunes of your franchise for the better for the next 15 years. But he's going to go in the top 5 too. You can't get him. Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to go in the top 5. So these guys who are, I don't even want to say generational because some of these guys aren't. I don't think Drake May is generational. I don't think Olu Fashanu's generational even. I think he's a really, really good prospect. Now, Brock Bowers is generational, but he's a tight end, so that's a little bit different. The positional value isn't there. But the point is, those 5 guys I just listed, Harrison, May, Williams, Fashanu, and Bowers are gone before the Seahawks pick. So, if you're going to tank, the guy that is the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow should be somebody who's actually going to single-handedly shift your fortunes, right? So here are the players, like this is the aggregate. I know the aggregate's going to change, but as of right now, here are the players that are probably going to be there for you to pick if you do get that ideal tanking scenario and end up around pick 7 or 8. Kool-Aid McKinstry, Dallas Turner, Joe Alt, Jared Verse, Rome Odunze, J.C. Latham, Layatu Latu, Keon Coleman, Malik Neighbors, Nate Wiggins, Jerzan Newton, Chop Robinson, Cooper DeJean, Emeka Ebuka, Kalen King. These are the guys that the Seahawks will almost certainly be picking from if they end up with that top 10 but not quite top 5 pick. So I gotta ask, who on this list do you think is just gonna come in and turn this team around with their own 2 hands? Because if you're gonna actually intentionally lose games or purposefully lose, or however you want to put tanking, I don't know exactly how you want to define tanking, but if you're actually going to root for your team to lose, you should want them to get something really special out of it, right? So who in this group of players is just going to swoop in and make the team win 4 more games by themselves? Like there's nobody here in that list I just read off that is close to that. Drafts don't have more than a couple of those kinds of players. Like this draft has Caleb Williams, who is that good at quarterback. It has, in my opinion, the greatest tight end prospect ever in Brock Bowers, best wide receiver since Calvin Johnson and Marvin Harrison Jr., and one of the best left tackle prospects we've seen in the last decade in Fashanu. But again, those guys are all gone. Like everybody always said suck for luck. The big thing back in 2012 was suck for luck. Nobody ever said suck for Ryan Tannehill. Nobody ever said suck for Dion Jordan. Nobody ever sucked for Russell Okung. That's not a thing. Those guys are pieces, really, really good pieces, but they are pieces of a bigger puzzle. And a puzzle piece is not going to do you any good without the rest of the puzzle. The guys who are the puzzle by themselves are not going to be there at pick 7, pick 8, pick 9. So you're not going to draft your way out of this. This team doesn't have a very specific player problem where, oh, if we just add Romo Dunze, we're going to go win the Super Bowl. If we just add Joe Alt, we're Super Bowl bound. And if you believe that, please let me know. If you think we're one player away that's not even like a super duper blue chipper, a rookie, by the way, remember, all these guys you get, they're going to be rookies when they come in. Please let me know. But I don't know why you would think that. Now, this is where some people say, oh, you trade up. You can trade up and get Caleb Williams. And to those people, what I would say is save your emotions. Like, do not get your hopes up. It's not going to happen. Two things. First of all, just very basic level, John Schneider doesn't believe in trading up in the first round. I don't think he's ever done it, and I don't think it's just a coincidence. I think that's just the way he views things. Trading up in the first round, in his mind, is not worth it. And quite honestly, when you look at the history of the NFL, I think that there have been a lot of very cautionary tales about trading up in the first round. Furthermore, this is going to be one of the most valuable top end of the drafts we've seen in the last decade because so many of the guys at the very top are so good. Caleb, Marvin Harrison, Bowers, Fashanu. So you're going to have to give up extra capital if you actually want to trade up into that top 5, top 3, top 1. Guess what? The Seahawks don't have a second round pick. We traded it to the Giants for Leonard Williams. So we would be trying to trade up without a full barrel of ammo. We don't have the ammo to trade up, even if we wanted to, and I don't think we want to. If we wanted to, we couldn't. So we're not trading up. That's not going to be the answer here. By the way, that's another strike against tanking. Part of the reason why you tank is not only so you can get a really high first round pick, it's so that your other second round pick can be like a low first round pick because it's right at the top of the second round. So you're getting a primo guy at the top and you're getting another really good guy at around 34, 35. Well, you don't have your second round pick. So a decent sized chunk of the benefit of tanking has been flushed down the toilet. So yeah, it's not about the draft. That we're not going to draft our way out of this, guys. I really caution people against thinking that. So the only other thing could be people want this team to lose, so we fire Pete Carroll. And guys, we already tried that. It didn't work. In fact, if anything, it may have, depending on your perspective, backfired. I don't personally think that way, but I guess some people would. 2021. The 2021 Seattle Seahawks season. The Seahawks went 7-10. 7-10. They were 5-10, and then they won the last 2 games of the season after being eliminated. Garbage time. 3 of their wins were against the 3 worst teams in the league because Jacksonville, Houston, and Detroit picked 1, 2, 3 that year, and we had 3 wins against those 3 teams. So that team went 7-10. They were worse than that record by a considerable margin. They were probably like a 5-win team. And that team had high expectations, like Super Bowl expectations, because it was supposed to be the culmination of the post-Legion of Boom rebuild. And it completely fell on its face. Did Pete Carroll get fired after this season? No, he didn't. Did the team consider firing him? Maybe. I don't know. I don't think they did, but even if they did, they didn't. So Pete Carroll survived 2021. I'm pretty dang sure he's going to survive 2023 if he wants to. But what I mean by that is I guess he could retire. He could willingly walk away. But realistically, if Pete Carroll's going to retire, he's probably going to do that regardless. He's probably just going to do it to do it. I don't think the team being slightly better or slightly worse would affect his opinion that much, because I think the only thing that could make him retire would be if he decides he's too old or he's sick of it or he can't do it anymore. And I don't really think that losing a couple more games in a regular season for a team that didn't even have super high expectations, I don't think that's going to change his perspective of it. So we already tried to have a bad season to get Carroll out. It didn't work. I'm pretty sure it's not going to happen again. This team has lower expectations than the 2021 team by far, by the way. So yeah, I don't know where the benefit is here. I don't know what losing games is supposed to get us. Like if we're going to root for our team to lose, there better be some serious reward at the end to make it worth it. And the reward to me looks very forgettable. Like do people think that tanking will make Jody Allen sell the team faster? Jody's going to sell when she's going to sell. Jody's going to sell when she feels like selling, when she feels like it's the right time to sell. And I don't think that I think we could go 0-17 or 17-0. I don't think it would change her position that much. She's going to sell when it's most beneficial to her and her interests. So, yeah, I'm just trying to see this one. I'm trying to see if there's any juice to squeeze here, but there's no juice. Straight up, the players that we are going to get in the draft at pick 7, 8, 9 are not going to be that different from the players we would get in the teens or even in the low 20s. Like there's not going to be a huge array of a difference there. They're still going to have roughly the same bust potential. They might have a little more upside up here, but these are not franchise savers. These are not guys who single-handedly come in and make you a contender. This is not, an Andrew Luck situation. Andrew Luck took the Colts from 2-14 to 11-5 almost by himself. There's nobody here who's going to do that. There are some guys, but they're going to be gone. So there's no tanking guys. And as long as this is the case, as long as these things are true, it's too late to tank into the top of the draft. You're not going to be able to tank Pete Carroll out of Seattle. You're not going to be able to tank Jody Allen into selling the team early. Why not just hope for the best? Why not just root for the team to actually surprise you? Why not root for the team to give you a happy surprise this Thursday against Dallas, or in San Francisco, or against Philly in a couple weeks? I don't know. Why not? It doesn't seem like you have anything to lose, or at the very least, you don't really have anything to gain. So, if you guys see it another way, let me know. If you guys are looking at this from a different perspective, if you actually think that losing games could get Carroll fired, and that's what you want, then let me know. I think you are. I think you're barking up the wrong tree there. I don't see that happening at all. But maybe you've got a different way to look at this. I don't know. All right, see you guys later. Go Hawks. Another kind of longer video, but I wanted to explore this a little bit, and I just wanted to explain why, despite it all, despite me being kind of low on enthusiasm, I'm not sitting here rooting for this team to lose, and I don't think it makes sense to. See you guys later. Go Hawks.